Big warning on China's Nepal meddling. It seems the ex-Tibetan Prime Minister in exile has cautioned India. His advice to India, be vigilant on China. Lobsang Sangay reveals what lessons Nepal unrest holds for India. Here's an interview with India Today's Maria Shakil.
The Gen Z protesters have toppled another government, I would say, this time in Nepal. There is an interim government which is in place, and they have promised that there will be a full-fledged government in 6 months' time. In South Asia, in recent months, we have seen similar protests or movements of sorts being led by students. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and now Nepal. What is it that the political class is not able to understand? Why are they not able to read the sentiments of this crucial demographic?
Globally speaking, if you talk of global south, you have anywhere from 1.9 to 2 billion, some even estimate up to 3 billion youth, right, in the global south. And now India, there's much talk about youth dividend. Youth is dividend if you provide employment. Otherwise, it could be disaster. So the youth in Sri Lanka overthrew the government in the name of corruption, but they want jobs, right? And then also in Bangladesh, now in Nepal, also in Bhutan, 30% of the youth moved to Australia, So you can clearly see the youth wanting jobs, government not creating jobs and overthrowing them. So this is a major problem of the global south. America can take about 1 million immigrant a year. If you take more than that, like Biden lost election, Kamala Harris lost election. Europe also can take about 1 million youth a year, right? Immigrants, right? And then there's anti-immigrant movement going on. And Arab countries can take 1 million. So up to 3, at most 5 million youth could be taken by all these countries. But then to generate 2 billion employment for youth is a major challenge. That's why even in China, 40% of the youth are unemployed. So unemployed youth, what we say is idle mind is,
a devil's workshop.
Devil's workshop. And that's what you do, and you overthrow governments after governments, And Nepal is a major issue. There's nepocades and there's corruption. All these are relevant. But corruption is relevant in Asia, let's face it, whether you're a ruling party or opposition party, But then this is a challenge where there's so many youth not having employment, and the government is corrupt and leaders are corrupt, and they're overthrowing one government after another. So it's a big lesson for the leaders in the global south. You better create jobs.
And these are anti-establishment movements. So they are generally of the opinion that the political class seem to have failed them.
Yeah. Yes, now, if you take a broader context, let's say Arab Spring.
Yes.
Hosni Mubarak was considered autocratic, corrupt in Egypt. He was removed. But then, removing dictators or corrupt leaders is one thing. Replacing them is very difficult. Who replaced Hosni Mubarak? General Sisi. He's worse than Mubarak, okay? And you go further, Tunisia, right? And then the the president was removed by, again, youth, Who is replacing him? Said. He's considered more draconian than the previous, the autocratic leader. So you go through Arab Spring, you go anywhere in the world. Removing dictators is one thing. Replacing them is a very big challenge. So this is what Nepal will face. This is what Bangladesh will face. This is what Sri Lanka will face.
The SCO summit, where Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping actually shook hands. And they have hoped for a better future, certainly. They are hoping that there would be more partnership in this relationship between India and China. How do you view this? This thaw, which is now visible between India and China.
Now, there's one, we can look at it short term, and you can look at long term. Short term, perhaps because of the tariff conflict with, America, especially President Trump. So this is a tactical, I hope this is a tactical move on the part of, Indian government for Prime Minister Modi ji to visit, China after 7 years, and then invite or allow, Chinese foreign minister and foreign advisor Wang Yi to come to India. I hope this is a tactical maneuver, not a strategic shift. If it is a strategic shift, then you must look at long term. In 60 years, इतना बार धोखा दिया है भारत को ना, Chinese, from Chinese side. How many times? From 62 war to Doklam to Galwan, you just name it, right? So many times China has betrayed India primarily because China wants to be number one in the world. To be number one, you have to be number one of the region of Asia. You have to make sure the number two is nowhere near you. So, China has encircled India in Pakistan, Nepal, increasingly so in Nepal, Bangladesh, Maldives, Sri Lanka, you just name it, right? So there are more areas of conflicts, primarily because China wants it that way, right? Other than that, what is there? Even a trade. There's trade deficit on the part of, India, right? India is buying more goods from China. Border tension, right? You occupy Palm, the Tibet, go after 5 fingers, they're coming. Nepal, Bhutan, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and Ladakh, they're coming, and they have built more villages in the border areas, right? So, if you look at from all angles, there are more conflicts with China, and China has taken advantage and pressed India and all the neighboring countries of India than India has gained in the last 60, 70 years. So that should be the lesson.
Okay, so great degree of caution should be exercised in this
Definitely.
rapprochement is what you're suggesting.